El storytelling te da la oportunidad de poder hablar de cualquier tema respetando las estructuras, claro está. Tengo dos ejercicios para este video. El primero es uno en Wordle, muy interesante, donde vamos a reordenar frases, el Jumble Up. Y tengo otro que es el de Wheel of Names. Aquí sí vamos a hablar libremente. Les voy a dar también el chance para que ustedes puedan expresar sus opiniones acerca, pues, de alguna pregunta random. Iniciemos con este. Súper sencillo. For example, here. Una de las frases que vimos en el anterior video, si recuerdan, les voy a ayudar. For example, I was living. Ok, listo. ¿Cuál más? ¿Cuál más? Ok, perfecto. In a working town. Ok, aquí, mira, esta es small town. La parte del adjetivo, small town. Town is small, no, small town. Listo, el conector. And I came. I was, yes. Pasamos con el verbo, claro, con ing. I was working as a waiter. That's good. So I was living in a small town and I was working as a waiter. Perfecto. Next one. Vamos con otro. Good. This. Everything. Déjame ver. No. Well, why not this one? When. That's good. When I received, okay. When I receive a call. Excelente. Yes, that changed everything. Very important to use W equations. Very important. Next one. Esta está un poco mucho más larga en sí. Una de las frases esenciales era, por ejemplo, esta. Didn't, o no era didn't. Did I ever care? Okay, good. Did I ever tell you? Okay. Otra. Está un poquito larga. About, yes. Okay, yes. The first time. Listo. The first time I was ¿qué? Neighbors, no. Bucaramanga, no. Stranded. Pregunta, ¿qué es stranded? Ok, good question. Stranded es cuando alguien se encuentra como varado. O en este caso, un ejemplo. Te encuentras en cierta ciudad, un momento a otro llegaste, no sé, te fuiste como por tu propia cuenta y resultaste, por ejemplo, en un pueblo que no conocías y como que no tienes dinero, no tienes transporte, no sabes dónde quedarte. O sea, I was stranded o I am stranded. Esto como averiado, más bien de no tener como esa ayuda a la mano. Stranded, muy buena palabra. ¿Listo? When I was stranded, ¿en dónde? In Bucaramanga. That's good. Y ahorita damos la razón. Because I came. I didn't know the neighborhoods, los barrios. Importante. Did I ever tell you about? Nice. Next one, otra. Let me see. Esta, I'll, good, never, forgotten. No, I'll never forget. Never forget. El momento acá, the time. The time, sí. When I was, that's good, when I was, aquí, when I was, ¿qué? Importante el verbo con ing. When I was performing ¿qué? On a stage. Listo, en el escenario. Was performing on a stage. On a stage, pero ¿qué? That's good. And I came. Suddenly ¿qué? Realize. ¿Qué significa realize? Realizarse, no. Cuando de repentemente me di cuenta, enterarse de algo, like notice. Listo, I suddenly realize. Realize, pero ¿qué más? ¿Qué más? I had forgotten all my lines. Imagine eso, uno encontrarse, voy a colocarlo por acá, uno encontrarse en un escenario que justamente uno esté practicando alguna canción, no sé, tanto en guitarra o cantando, y justamente usted la embarra en ese momento. I never forget the time, nunca olvidaré aquel momento when I was performing, cuando estaba llevando a cabo algún tipo de obra, algo así, on a stage, donde todo el mundo lo está viendo, and I suddenly realized, y de repente noté que se me había olvidado todas las líneas, all my lines. Feo. Next one. Pasemos con otro ejercicio. This one. Dice acá. Importante. A ver, a ver, a ver, a ver, a ver. No. Remember, I, yes, was, yeah. Va entonces el verbo walking. Remember, I was walking. Walking qué? Uno dice walking the home, walking the house, no. Acá lo colocan normal. I was walking home. Listo, caminando pues hacia la casa. Walking home the other day. Ah, esa también la vimos por ahí. The other, yes, the other date. Yes, excellent. In I found, yes. ¿Qué se encontró? Ah, claro, una billetera, a wallet. ¿Pero qué? ¿A wallet qué? Someone, ¿será acá? Someone, a wallet came. Okay, listo. That someone has dropped on the sidewalk. Imagine, recuerdo cuando estaba caminando hacia la casa el otro día y encontré una billetera que alguien había dejado caer o que alguien dejó caer. They have dropped. Listo, drop es como gota, pero pues también se utiliza como verbo. Have dropped on the sidewalk. Sidewalk es como en la orilla. ¿Listo? La orilla. Bueno, sí, especialmente ahí como está la parte de la carretera y parte pues donde los peatones pueden caminar. Next one. Y la última. This is very important. Entonces acá. And, ¿qué más? Aquí. Una expresión muy, muy, muy característica. And guess what? And guess what? And guess what? ¿Listo? Dice acá entonces. After. ¿Qué? I had. Pasamos con el verbo. I had research. ¿For qué? For my keys. ¿Listo? For my keys. For an hour. For an hour. For an hour. Yes. I discovered. Sorry, here. Discovered. ¿Quiénes? They. Acordamos que they no solamente habla acerca de personas, sino habla acerca de las llaves. ¿Listo? They can. They were in my hand the whole time. Imagínense, eso muy feo. Una vez me pasó incluso como con un lápiz o creo que con una gafa. Yo, ¿dónde encuentro mis gafas cuando cero las tengo arriba? Dios mío. Listo, next one. Pasemos ahora entonces con otra. In that case, well, we are gonna to choose. This is gonna to spin randomly, and we are gonna to choose one. Well, the whale is gonna choose one question to us. So in that case, you can include, acá pueden incluir una de las frases que se mencionó anteriormente. Probablemente, no va a ser todo, ¿no? Sino justamente acá es espacio libre. Dice acá, during your most memorable trip, what was the most surprising thing you saw? Have you researched that place before you arrived? Really tough question. So when we talk about memorable trips, one of them was when I was in Argentina, but not also in Argentina. Not only no, yeah, not also in Argentina, but it was in Montevideo, very close, almost 3 hours from Argentina away. So, what was the most surprising thing you saw? Well, of course, so going around the world is something that I really enjoy the most, but I remember that everything was expensive there. Yeah. So, from a small country like Uruguay, in comparison with Argentina, that's a lot bigger, that's bigger than that the city, yeah. I remember that that I feel surprised about the prices there. Everything was not the same, so the cultures there. I was around the city for I don't know, sure, maybe 5 hours, and the currency there is different. So thankfully, so I got my credit cards and I could pay everywhere. So for me, that was not a problem, but I usually receive, my credit card was charged uh, with taxes because for being there. Have you researched that place before you arrive? To be honest, not a lot. So since I moved to Argentina, I just realized about some places there. I didn't know about the weather because there are some seasons in which you have to deal with. At that times, it reminds me when I was in my hometown on the Tolima. Now I'm living here in Santander, but being there at that time, so that was in December, I feel awful, awful because I couldn't stand being in a hot weather, in a scorching weather like that. So, and it's a start some days before weekend there. Oh, anyways, yeah, something like this. Remove. Next one. Think about a big mistake you made. What were you thinking at that moment? What have you ignored before it happened? Another tough question as well. Big mistakes. Well, so, for example, I traveling a lot of hours from one place to another, and maybe just to, I don't know, looking for something that I could expect, but it never um, came out. This is something awful for me. I remember that 2 years ago or three, not so much, roughly. I remember that I was dating with a girl, so the girl was from the university, and everything was going well. And she said to me, Kevin, why not come here to Willa in order to visit me, in order just to like hanging out a little bit. And I said, of course, there are around 13 hours by bus from here from Santander. And that was crazy because once I got there, so that was very early, and the girl was expecting the best visit, was expecting the best of going there, but no, everything was not like I thought, because the girl was, I don't know, like a gold digger, just like spending so much money on her. But I said, well, so I didn't say that to her before because sometimes I was shy, but anyway. So the big mistake there, that was to taking a long trip, when a lot of holds up, and well, so I didn't enjoy so much the trip because there was a lot of time consuming, but at the same time I think that, well, the experience was a little bit great. So being there in the desierto de la Tatacoa, or Tatacoa desert, and that's it. And what were you thinking at that moment? So that my time was useless, and what had you ignored before it happened? I ignored because I didn't. She didn't. She didn't. She wasn't. Um, she didn't say what she thought at that time to me. She said, "No, Kevin, I want to know you about it." But I don't know. She was like trying to be separated at that time from her ex-boyfriend, and I don't know. Maybe just to trying to do something with me, um, trying to cheat on him. That was not cool. Just kiss and make up. What were you doing in your life when you suddenly decided to change your career or study path? Well, back in time, when I was so now I'm 27. When I was 23, I think. So I decided to change my career. I was studying accountancy, but I changed my mind. due to not a lot of experience or not a lot of opportunities overseas. So at that time, I was thinking that accountancy was the best career, that was the best uh, choosing career. But well, I ignored that sometimes the market is demanding, and there are other people that are expecting or that have a very curriculum detail than me. So, and well, that was let me down at the time. So I changed my mind and I choose the bachelor degree. That was the best option ever. And well, I started studying this because English was the mayor, was the the highline ability that I have. So everything was good, and I think that that was the best choice I took. When you finally reach your biggest goal, how many obstacles have you already overcome? Well, biggest goals, I remember when I got into work at Sena. So that was a little bit demanding at first because I back in time in 2022, so I had two jobs, and I was from side by side, like uh, working so hard on trying to get money, of course, and at the same time paying for different stuff, my personal expenses. So I remember that I have to ask for an international exam. So I at that time I didn't, or I hadn't enough time for myself. So it's cool. That was a timing consumption the whole date, not the whole date, but the whole month. So having two jobs at the same time is demanding, and if you include, for example, personal studies, so your life is getting worse sometimes. Well, no, not getting worse, but it's a huge obstacle that you have to get by, and sometimes you have to manage your time. How many obstacles have you already overcome? For example, at the time, well, try to getting up early, and well, sometimes I have to stay up late, so my time or my sleeping time was a little. And well, so I have to. I remember that I have to take naps or some naps, especially in the afternoon, almost 25 minutes. And I remember before getting into Senna, I have a huge challenge because I remember that I moved to another town a little bit away, and well, that was when a scorching weather was not cool. So I only last there for 2 months, I think, and yeah, so I prefer to drop out from that school, not work at that place anymore. When you met your best friend, what was the first thought? Have you ever imagined you would become so close? Well, so for now, I don't have a best friend. But I remember back in time when I used to be a child. Yes, I used to have one. But well, that was a certain day in which I was in a break time in a school, kindergarten. I don't remember exactly, but that friend was getting closer to me, and we start like I don't know, like sharing our stuff. For example, I was eating un chocoramo, like a chocolate bar, and jugger, right? Plastic jugger. So anyway, I feel good because someone was getting close into me or got close to me and start talking to me because people around sometimes ignore me because I was overweight and I felt frustrated. I at that time, when you were a child, you used to feel excited or at the same time feel disappointed if other people say bad opinion about you. So, had you ever imagined you would become so close? Well, no, I didn't thought about it. So that was we hit it off each other at that time because he started talking to me and he liked or he used to like eating playing soccer. Yeah, that was something that really encouraged me to talk and said, "Hey, why not become friends?" Describe a time you had to make a difficult choice. What was happening around you and what factor had influenced your decision? Yeah, sometimes I think that a really very difficult choice is when you have to spend some money on something, and sometimes or you don't feel right or you don't feel secure to take that decisions to go further. So, what was happening around you? Mm, for example, so that's not long ago. That was for example, when I took my bartender course, that was soon. So um, I think maybe 1 month ago, and so at that time I didn't have money for investing on it, and I have to ask an loan for from my brother. Well, he's a wealthy man, and he said, "Kevin, don't worry. So I want the best for you, so I can lend you the money, and that's it. So you can pay my money back then. Don't worry about it." And I said, "Okay, good, good, good." But that was a difficult choice because this is a debt for me, and I don't like having debts. But anyways, everything was good because at that time the Hollywood was off, so I didn't have any compromise with anyone. I feel good. Everything just happens. And what factor have influenced your decision? Because I was talking with a friend of mine, and she encouraged me. Well, 2 years ago, like Kevin, you talk English very well, and I want you to be part of a cruise. Why not? Yeah. So when you're English, you can overcome that kind of I don't know requirement here. But yeah, it sounds good. So you let me know. You have to invest on this beforehand, of course. This is another decision that I had to take then, but maybe at the end of the year it's gonna be better. And what factor influenced your decision? Because my family support me and say and they all of them said, okay, Kevin, go ahead. So you want to reach your dream, you want to fulfill, or you want to you want to do what you want. Just Kevin, do it. You are in the right path, in the right way. Just do it. That's it. Think about a skill you have now, like playing the guitar, an instrument, or a language. When did you realize you were getting better? Had you practiced a little before that realization? Well, of course, that question is my question. I like playing both, so guitar and piano. And in languages, of course. Well, I feel great when I start learning a language because just I hit the books a lot. I remember back in time when a friend of mine usually like dropped by my grandmother's, and they were always he was always or he always asked me, Kevin, how do you say this in English? And I didn't know the answer. He said, Kevin, but that's A1 level question, or I don't know. I'm talking with a cat? And I say, okay, well, never mind. Um, Languages was that factor that was that requirement that let me myself increase my abilities and becoming better, of course. So I think that most of my times I was very obsessed with learning a language on my own, of course. And I see that people around my neighborhood, nobody of them talking English, neither other language. But the idea was to be different from others and to have a lot of opportunities. I believe on me, and that was something that I need to start first. And yes, not only this, but the instruments as well. So once I start learning English, so I say, why not maybe just to become better in learning learning piano? And I, of course, I save up money, and then I made an investment on an instrument, both in piano and guitar, and of course just watching different videos, a lot of videos, and understand the techniques. So and practice, of course, practice, just learning and practice becomes my talents better, and I think that I could do better in other things. See, if I make the purpose of learning something and I take I don't know, and I take the right way, so I could do whatever I want. Bueno, espero que les haya gustado. Según esto, de verdad es importantísimo practicar, y más que todo en la parte del speaking. Entonces recuerden, aprender siempre frases es importante, pero ponerlas en práctica no importa si cometen errores. Lo importante es practicar y dar siempre lo mejor de ustedes.